Yo, Bracy Skills Clinics, back with a special video. I want to really, touch up on this topic as I start my morning. If you hear any noise in the background, it shouldn't be too bad. But if you do hear any noise in the background, I'm currently in the car right now as I record this video. So please excuse any background noises that you hear. But I'm gonna get straight into it. One topic that I want to go over is the topic of training. This channel is called Bracy Skills Clinics. You guys see a bunch of training videos, different guys working on different skill sets, working on different things. So I want to talk about, training and the reason why I believe it is subjective, similar to, what your favorite music is or favorite genre. I think training is subjective, meaning that, it's really no real way to determine on who's the best, quote unquote. So yeah, I'm gonna dive into that topic. So, we're living in an era where you're seeing a lot more trainers, definitely more trainers nowadays than, the era I grew up in, and obviously the era before. I'm not too old, but definitely older. Training wasn't a major thing. Like if you had a trainer, like when I was coming up, if you had a trainer, you were like next level. Like the person has a trainer. So a lot of people were just playing pickup games or running old school games at 21, things like that, coming up. So if you had a trainer, it was just more like, man, he's exclusive, he's next level. So now it's like everybody has a trainer. Everybody, no matter the skill level, no matter the age. I mean, I'm seeing kids as young as like 5-6 years old with trainers. And no, nothing wrong with it. But now with more trainers, you start seeing a little more egos. And I don't even have a problem with the egos, me personally. I don't have a problem with trainers that jump into this game that believe, they are the best. I think a lot of the trainers are former players, and they're feeding their competitive spirit, and I think they're approaching the training business the same way they would as a former player. Like, as a former player, you want to be the best every time you step on the court, and for them, it's just a mindset to have. I don't have a problem with it. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, I don't have a problem with it, but I do think it's subjective. I think, there's no real way to determine who's the best. Like, how do you determine that? Is it through, who makes the most money? Is it through who has the most clients? Is it through word of mouth, which is probably the most accurate answer, is through word of mouth. And even through that, like, I know some trainers that aren't on social media at all, that you probably don't even know, that aren't household names, and they're one of the best in the game, one of the best in the business. So, I think it's definitely become a popularity contest to a certain extent. It definitely has. I'm not going to lie. But I still think training is something that should be player driven. A good trainer is going to recognize that, this is what the player needs, but at the same time, we're going to work on it, but really it should be the player coming to the trainer saying, okay, I want to work on X, Y, and Z. And you just don't see a lot of that anymore. Those that you do see it from, as far as the players, are usually the ones that are the most serious and, take their game. They really want to take their game to the next level because they're, taking themselves, holding themselves accountable, basically. Like, they recognize that they may have a weakness and they want to get with a trainer to improve it. And that's how it should be. It shouldn't be everything coming from the trainer. And I think a lot of that it's due to the player not necessarily knowing what they want or what they need to improve on to take their game to the next level. Everything is coming from the trainer. So, when you're training, the person that you connect with the most, and I'm talking about player to trainer, if I train with somebody because somebody else says he's good, and then I get with that trainer, and that trainer, I don't connect with that trainer doesn't explain things the way I would want it to be explained, or at least in a way where I can understand it, I don't care how good everybody else says that trainer is. That trainer doesn't connect with me. So I'm not going to feel the same way that everybody else feels about this particular trainer. Does that make sense? And that's, just one reason why I think it's subjective. Another reason why I think training is subjective is because, once again, there's no measuring stick. So, there are trainers that make a lot of money. There are trainers that can easily walk away with 6 figures throughout the year, whether they, depend on how much they charge or how many clients they do or how hard they choose to hustle. Some of them are booked every day, got camps on weekends, things like that. So, can you say that trainer is the best because he has the most clients and or makes the most money? I would say no, because demographics can play a part in how much a trainer makes. If I'm training like I train in Vallejo, not a lot of rich families in Vallejo. Not saying that there isn't any, but for the majority, Vallejo's the inner city. So demographic wise, I can't charge what somebody that is living in Beverly Hills or Marin County can charge. Different clients, different type of bag, right? And so does that mean I'm not the best trainer because I don't have the most clients or because I don't make the most money? Does that make me not the best? Or does it make me the best if I am training a bunch of kids that come out of Beverly Hills or all these rich areas, and I have a lot of clients that can pay $100 for a 1 hour session? Like, they're out there, right? So that's another reason why I think it's subjective, because just because you make the most money or have the most clients doesn't make you better or worse than the next trainer. And so, yeah, man, I kind of want to do this video just to kind of pick all my trainers' brains and get hopefully a conversation started in the comments from trainers about, training being subjective and what is the criteria for those who think it's the best, because I also feel like the trainer that trains NBA players has value, just like the trainer that is training this random kid that got cut from JV last year as a freshman, and that trainer decided to start working with this particular kid that got cut from JV, and then the next year he's on JV or starting on JV. That trainer has got to be good, because the kid got cut the year before, and all of a sudden he's starting on his JV team. But these are the stories that, if you're working with NBA clients, you're probably not going to care about, because you're working with high upper echelon basketball athletes. But like I said, training is subjective. I believe it's subjective, and I think it's different strokes for different folks, man. Like, if I'm working with a kid that got cut and he ends up making the team, you can't tell me I'm not an elite trainer. For those other trainers out there that may not have all the higher upper echelon athletes. So, let's get this conversation going. I'm going to post this on my Instagram story. I want to get as many trainers chiming in on this as possible. Is there a criteria for who's the best? If so, what is it? If you agree that there isn't no criteria, why do so many trainers strive for being the best? Is it their competitive spirit as former players? Or do they look at things differently? Do they look at a different way of measuring it? Do they look at it from, I'm going to say I'm the best because I've had this many people tell me I'm really good, and I had 4 kids that got cut from freshman or cut from JV and they made varsity the next year. Like, is it those stories? I just want to know, because I want to get this conversation going. I believe it's subjective. I don't think there's no such thing as the best, but that's my opinion. I want to hear what everybody else got to say. All right, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Brace your skills, Connects, we out.